There is one technique in photo editing that can completely transform your images, but it's often considered to be very complicated and out of reach if you're just getting started with post-processing. And I'm talking about dodge and burn. And in this video, I'll show you a very easy way to do this in Lightroom instead of Photoshop, and you'll see just how this technique can add a lot of extra dimension to your photos. And this technique is great if you're a beginner to dodging and burning, or if you're looking for a way to speed up your workflow. If you're unfamiliar with what dodging and burning is, it's simply the darkening of the shadow areas of your photo, which is called burning, and the brightening of the highlight areas of your photo, which is called dodging. And these terms are actually based on traditional darkroom techniques where they would change the exposure of specific areas of the photo. So like I said, dodging and burning can add a lot of extra dimension to your photo. So if your image is looking a little bit flat, dodge and burn can add a lot of structure, a lot of texture, and give your photo a bit more of that 3D feel. It's also great to draw attention to certain areas of an image by brightening or dodging those areas, but you can also draw attention away from certain images by darkening or burning those areas. Because naturally the eye will be drawn to the more brighter areas of an image and will try to avoid the darker areas of an image. I also use dodge and burn very often to enhance already bright areas that are, for example, being lit up by sunlight. And then I'll darken shadow areas, and that way I'm creating local contrast and making the image look a little bit more interesting. All right, enough chit chat, so let's open up Lightroom and I'll show you this very easy way to dodge and burn. We'll be using the radial filter for this technique, and you can find it right here. It's this circular icon right here. And when you click on the radial filter, you can adjust all of these settings and they will only apply to where you draw the radial filter. So let's start with dodging parts of the image first. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. So what we want to do is we want to dodge or brighten the already brighter areas of this image, but also certain areas where we want to draw the viewer's attention to. So we'll draw a circle around an area that we want to brighten up, and certain parts of the castle here are being lit up by the sunlight, and I want to enhance that effect. So I'll draw a circle around here and I'll adjust it to where I want to brighten up a certain area. And if you hit O, you can see the mask of the area that you will be adjusting. And if you hit Shift O, you can actually change the color of that mask depending on what's easier for you to see for your specific image. And then if you hit O again, you will turn off the mask. So I just want to adjust this area here. And then what I'll do is I'll make sure the feather is set to 100. And I do this almost always just to make sure that my adjustments blend very nicely with the actual image. And then next we'll adjust the exposure. Not too much. At about 0.35, something like that. And then now we have actually dodged or brightened this area. So what you want to do next is basically do this for all the areas that you want to brighten in the image. And a very quick and easy way to do this is to simply right click and duplicate. And then you can move the filter, the one you've just duplicated, to another area that you want to adjust. By doing this, all of the settings are still there, and if you would need to, it's very simple to just change a few of the settings. And you can duplicate this as many times as you want or as you need to in your image, but it will save you a lot of time while you're editing. So next I'm gonna change or adjust this whole area on the side here. Maybe just like this. Hit O to see exactly what I'm doing. Kind of like this. And then hit O again. And here, this area, as you can see, it's not necessarily bright already, but because it's very central in the image and the pathway leads to the door here, to the gate, I want to really enhance that. So that's why I'm drawing also a circle around here and adjusting the exposure a bit. Because like I said, the viewer's attention will go to the brighter areas of the image. And I have this leading line of the road leading up to the gate of the castle. So that's why I want to enhance the gate here a little bit. Okay, that's looking pretty good for the dodging part of the image. And next I'll move on to burning or darkening certain areas of the image. So I'll do the same thing as before. So I'll draw a new circular filter or a radial filter around an area that I want to darken. So usually it's very complementary. So usually you have a brighter area and it will be close to a shadow area. And that's how you create that complementary contrast or this local contrast. So I'll draw a circle around this area here that I want to darken. And again, I'll make sure that my feather is set to 100 just to make sure that it will blend nicely. And then I'll drop the exposure a little bit at minus 35, 36, maybe a little bit more. Just like that, half a stop. And then I'll continue to darken other areas of the image. So usually the shadow areas or areas where I maybe would want to draw the attention away. And I'll do this again by right-clicking and duplicating the filter. Alright, so that's I think enough for the burning part of the image. Now when you're working on an image, it's very easy to kind of lose track of all your adjustments. So it's nice to toggle on and off the radial filter in this example to see what your adjustments have done and what effect they have on your image. So if you go down here, there's a little toggle button right here, so you can toggle them on and off. And a good way to check is right here in the thumbnail image. You can see what effect all of your adjustments have. And as you can tell, this simple dodge and burn technique has had a huge impact on this image. It has added a lot of dimension to it and made it look a lot more interesting. But make sure you keep watching because I'll show you some more advanced techniques how we can really fine-tune this image. So one thing that I like to do when I'm dodging certain areas of an image is to also add a little bit of clarity. So I've already brightened or dodged these areas and I want to draw some more attention to them and bring in a little bit more texture, and clarity will do just that. So like I said, this gate area here I want to draw the viewer's attention to, so I'll add a little bit of clarity. So I'll select the radial filter around the gate here and I'll just add a bit of clarity. Now if I exaggerate it, you can see that it'll bring out a lot of the texture in the rocks of the gate here. But we don't want to do it too much, just a bit, like about 30 maybe. And I just want to do that on a few areas where I have dodged. So maybe this one here, because I just want to bring out that texture a little bit more in the castle. And then maybe this area right here. You can see on some areas it works better, or you can see the difference more, especially here you could really see how that makes that little area pop even more. Maybe this roof. And the roof on the gate here. I think that's enough. So for sunrise or sunset photos like this one here, what I'll do is I'll usually increase the temperature of certain dodged areas just to enhance the warm glow that's being created by that setting sun. And I'll just select a certain area that I dodged or that is for sure being hit by the sunlight, and I'll simply increase the temperature a little bit. And you again don't want to overdo this because then it will look very strange. But just a little bit will really make a subtle difference. So I'll do this to a few areas. Maybe not that one, it's not that bright. The roof here, could add a little bit, not too crazy. And one other thing that you can do when you're dodging and burning is actually create the effect that sunlight is seeping through, and it works especially well with these kinds of sunset or sunrise photos. So what I'll do is draw a huge radial filter on the side where the sunlight is coming from. So in this image it's here on the right. And again, I'll make sure that my feather is set to 100. And I will just add a bit of dehaze. And dehaze can really create that effect of sunlight seeping through. But you don't want to go too crazy with this. So just add a little bit of dehaze. And then of course we are dodging and burning, so I'll dodge this area and brighten it a little bit. And then like I showed you before, to create that effect of sunlight, I'm going to increase the temperature a little bit as well. Maybe increase the exposure a little bit more. And I'm going to drag this out a little bit more. And I'll always make sure that the center of this radial filter is just outside the image. You can't really see the center of the image, it's just like a glow that's coming into the image on the side where the sun is coming from. So let's say you want to work a little bit more detailed and you want to have a more refined selection of your brightest and your darkest areas. You can do this by using the range mask. So just select one of the dodged areas, for example, and then down here you'll find the range mask. And then you can set it to luminance, which will show you these two sliders right here. So the range slider here will allow you to adjust the brighter or darker areas. And if you hold Alt or Option and then move the slider across, you can actually refine the area that you want to adjust. So white reveals and black conceals. So that means everything that is white will be affected by the filter and everything that is black will not. So I'll move this across a little bit to really hit only those brightest areas of my filter. Okay, so let's have a final look at what the image looked like without our dodging and burning adjustments. So this was before our dodging and burning. And then if we turn on the dodging and burning, you can see it's adding so much more 3D feel to that castle, and especially the sunlight coming in there. It's just really made this image pop a little bit more. So that's what I think is a very easy technique to apply dodge and burn to your images. And I hope you were able to learn some things that you can use while post-processing your own landscape photos. And maybe that the whole concept of dodging and burning has become a little bit less daunting. So if you like this video, make sure you leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future videos. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace!